In the small flicker-duck town of Riverside lived a teenager named Nella, found herself faced with an unusual responsibility. Her aunt had urgently called upon her to babysit her two young children, Stan, Max, and Susie Q. Aunt Sally lived in a mansion built by her ex-husband William, but it felt heavy with secrets as Nella reluctantly agreed to spend the evening in charge. As it became evening and the sun begins to set, Nella started to prepare the kids for the evening, making sure everyone took a bathe and was fed. It was about 8 p.m. when the kids begged Nella to watch some cartoons before bed, so Nella agreed. The cartoon was finished, but the kids still didn't want to go to bed, so they asked Nella to play a game of hide-and-seek. Little did she know that this innocent game would unravel a series of chilling events that would haunt her for the rest of her life. As Nella counted, the mansion seemed to come alive with eerie creaks and whispers. Stan, Susie Q, and Max scampered off to find hiding spots, their giggles echoing through the dimly lit halls. Nella's heart raced as she navigated the world's most dusty spider web house, the old floorboards groaning beneath her. When Nella opened the door to the dusty attic, a peculiar sight awaited her. Antique toys lined the shelves and an ancient rocking chair swayed gently. As she searched for the children, the room grew colder, and the air felt charged with an otherworldly presence. Suddenly, Nella heard a blood-curdling scream from Susie Q. Rushing downstairs, she found Max in a state of shock, pointing at a ghostly figure that appeared to be a child. The spectral child's eyes glowed with an ethereal blue, and Nella felt a shiver run down her spine as she almost shitted herself. In a panic, Nella tried to reassure all three of the kids it was just a figment of their imagination, but the ghostly child refused to disappear. "Let's all go upstairs. Now!" she screamed as the ghost continued to watch them. The night wore on. Strange occurrences, escalated objects moved on their own. Eerie lullabies played from nowhere, and the mansion seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Desperate to get the hell away from her aunt's house, Nella began to blast music from Jasmine Sullivan. "I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears." She repeated this as if it was a ritual to get the ghost out of the house, but that made situations worse as Nella delved into the mansion's history. She discovered a dark secret. The ghostly child, named Samuel, was her brother, who had tragically died in the mansion years ago. Nella realized that Aunt had summoned her for a reason to free Samuel's spirit. Nella, Max, Stan, and Susie Q embarked on a quest to unravel the family's tragic past. Along the way, they encountered ghostly apparitions, solved riddles, and faced chilling challenges that tested their courage. It was just about midnight when Nella's aunt entered the house and began to sing Nella's name, as if she was chanting or doing a spiritual ritual. She continued doing this as she walked around the house searching for everyone. As Nella uncovered the truth, she learned that her aunt had unintentionally trapped Samuel's spirit within the mansion. The children's laughter and playfulness had awakened his restless soul, seeking solace and release. Together they performed a heartfelt ritual, allowing Samuel to find peace and move on. But what happens next will blow your mind. As the four of them kneeled down to free Samuel, he began to touch Nella's face, and she could not believe that she could actually feel a ghost as she opened her eyes. Nella was faced with Max, Stan, and Susie Q standing across from her. "What in the actual Jerry Springer is going on? Am I tripping?" they replied. "No, Nella, we wanted to tell you so bad, but we couldn't." In total shock, Nella continued questioning them, but Samuel told Nella that she needed to shut her ass up, because Aunt Sally was about to tear that ass up in a couple minutes, and that he couldn't explain everything to her right now, and that she needed to run because she was minutes away from opening the door. Nella got up and hid in the nearest closet as her aunt continued to searching for her. As her aunt got closer, Nella's fears got worser. As Aunt Sally opened the room to where Nella was hiding, she opened the closet and began chanting her name. Nella tried running out, but her aunt had locked the door so she couldn't escape. Nella fought for her dear life as her Aunt Sally tried to kill her, but little did she know, Stan, Susie Q, Max, and Samuel all had a plan to take Aunt Sally down, and they defeated her by throwing Aunt Sally through the window. She died on the spot. As the ghostly occurrences ceased, a sense of relief washed over the mansion. In the aftermath, Nella reflected on the profound connection she had forged with Stan, Max, Susie Q, and Samuel. Despite the eerie circumstances, there was an odd sense of unity and understanding among them, Years passed after Nella found out that Aunt Sally wasn't her aunt, but her biological mother, who hated kids and was on a quest to take her life like she took her siblings' life. The mansion, once a source of fear, became a symbol of their resilience and friendship.